What we also see is that Miami is actually the second highest market for data consumption out of the entire country. And so not only do people like it in Miami specifically, this market is really, really ripe for disruption in this space and really highly engaged in a lot of the 4G services that we're delivering. It's really exciting to see that. And I think one of the things that's really, really important for us is that as we think about Chevrolet and we recast the brand as an innovation and technology leader, what you see around us today are some pretty amazing vehicles, but I think it's a really, really great contrast. Right here we have a beautiful Stingray convertible. This car has 4G LTE. This car has the capability we've been talking about. It also has the next capability that we're going to talk about, which is the idea of phone integration with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It has all this capability, but so does the Spark right behind it. Very different price points, very different customers, and frankly, one's very accessible and the other one's not. But they both have 4G LTE standard. They both have Apple CarPlay in them, the ability to integrate your phones. And so what we're doing with Chevrolet is really democratizing the technology in a way that, because we believe this is relevant to all of our customers, it adds value regardless of whether you're a sports car driver or a Spark driver. And so our approach is to take these technologies, which we believe can again really redefine and recreate what owning one of our vehicles can be, and making it available to all of our customers, which is, I think, a very unique approach for us. If we talk about Chevrolet MyLink now, in Chevrolet, and what's called Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Chevrolet has the biggest rollout of these technologies of any OEM in the industry. 14 Chevrolet models in 2016 will ship with this as part of their MyLink system. As Patrick mentioned already, the Spark in the back has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay up and running on it. And so I highly recommend you spend some time playing with it if you haven't experienced yet. The Corvettes have Apple CarPlay up and running. And so highly encourage you to take a look at both of those. But what this does is this is another way of adding capability and adding to the experience even after people have purchased their vehicle. Because what it enables you to do is if you're an Android user or an iPhone user, bring your phone in, plug it into the car, and now you can use Google Maps, Apple Maps, Music, all the services that are provided on the phone that have been made compatible, and you can use it in your touchscreen in your car. You can also control them with Siri using your voice, so it's safer and you can keep your eyes on the road, which is a really, really big deal for us. Personal story, just to divert for a little bit. I've been in 2 car accidents this year. Both times I was sitting at a stoplight, not moving, and got rear-ended by an SUV because the person behind me was doing this with their phone. Twice. My wife was with me the second time and got hit at 60 miles an hour. I have a personal passion for this because if you can take people and get them from doing this and focus on driving, I think it's a big deal for everyone, frankly. And technologies like voice recognition in the car, voice-enabled commands through Siri and Android Voice, I think have the ability to do that. And so I encourage you to play with Siri in the car as well to see how it works, because the initial feedback has been very, very good. I'm going to give you a couple of screenshots just to get an idea how it works. This is Android Auto. What you see is that this isn't simply what we call screen scraping. This isn't taking your phone and simply projecting it into the car. That wouldn't be safe. Everything we do here actually adheres to NHTSA guidelines for distracted driving and driver workload. And so what you see is a modified user experience. You see large icons, you see very simple interfaces, and you also see limited capability. Not every app that works on your phone is going to work in the car. Only certified applications that have been certified and have met our safety guidelines and standards. So what you see from the Android Auto approach is more of an integrated kind of home screen where you can then move into Google Maps and other types of capability. Really clean design and clean layout. Again, all controlled either through the touchscreen or through the voice controls in your steering wheel. This is an example of Apple CarPlay in the user experience. Again, what you note here is the icons are dramatically bigger, simplified. If you look at the music, scrolls easily, and I really encourage you to take a look at the map interface in the vehicle when you get in and play with it. Big icons, big text. It's designed for quick glances, and so that if you're on a route and you're trying to get somewhere, you have the ability to glance down and get the information you need and focus on driving. If you think about smartphones, think about how many iPhone users in the room. iPhones, okay, pretty decent amount. The iOS experience is actually designed to kind of draw you in and immerse you, right? They want you focused on the phone. They want you to be sucked in. Completely opposite here. We want you to consume what you need in a very quick glance and get back to driving, right? And so it's a very different design philosophy. And we're very, very cognizant, again, of ensuring that everything that we do with Apple and Google adheres to NHTSA safety guidelines and driver workload, because we think this has the ability to make the experience safer, and also the ability for people to add capability to their car long after they bought it. Because as Apple continues to innovate, as Google continues to innovate, they make better maps, they make better music services, they add new capability. You can bring this into your car in 17, 18, 19, in the out years, and your car continues to get better and evolve with you over time. And then finally, I'm going to hit really quickly on kind of a broader global strategy when you look at our company and what we're trying to do with connectivity. We believe very strongly in the power of a connected customer experience for a lot of the reasons we talked about. I believe it has the ability to help to make the driving experience better, to make ownership, usage, the entire ecosystem we think can be improved through connected cars. And so what you see from us is in China, OnStar 4G LTE will be rolling out this year. Europe and Brazil are going to be launching as well. So we're continuing to expand the OnStar footprint. And if you look even bigger than that, by 2020, 75% of our vehicles globally are going to have embedded high-speed connectivity around the world, because we believe that, again, customers around the world, everyone can benefit from things like advanced diagnostics, knowing that your car is always safe, being able to recover your car in the event of a theft. We think these are things that really matter to people around the world, especially when you look at markets like Brazil. What we see, the idea of theft recovery, of safety, of personal security, all enabled through this connected ecosystem is something that could be a game changer for us. And so, our company is committed to expanding the connected experience, not only across North America, but also across the world. And as I said, we're doing this not because we think it's really, interesting, cool technology. It is, and that's why I like it, frankly. But we're doing it because we believe it has the ability to differentiate our company, to differentiate our brand, and weave together a connected ecosystem that only we can deliver. And as a result, we believe that all of our customers are going to be delighted, and it'll increase loyalty and increase sales. But most importantly, we believe that it'll deliver an experience that you can't get from any other car company. And so as you look at the technology around the room, beautiful car, amazing powertrain, love the Corvette. It's an amazing vehicle and fun to drive, and it's got some of the best connected technology available anywhere as well. And so with that, that's really the kind of the high-level remarks I had I wanted to share with you, and we'd love to turn it over for any questions that you may have, anything at all I can help answer. Please.
Do you foresee the proactive warnings spreading to other components of the car, say like a catastrophic transmission failures coming up, or a piston will seize, something like that, more, beyond the 2 or 3 examples you listed there?
Yeah, it's a good question. The idea of proactive expanding into broader parts of the vehicle. At this time at launch, we're focusing on the key starter systems, battery, fuel pump, starters, because we think that's an area that when it fails, as we talked about, it's a welcome event. It's a really, really big issue, and it's something that's also, a battery is over time, disposable is not the right word, but I think it's something that wears down over time. And so we're focusing there to, first, to address that. I think in the future, the thinking, the capability, and the system could absolutely support other parts of the car as well. We're focusing on starter systems, but there's no reason why we couldn't expand that in the future. Please.
Actually, I have 2, if I may. Several years ago, I had a friend who was looking for a car and asked him what he wanted in the car, and he said the navigation system and HID headlights. Yep. So I'm wondering where this technology and all this thing fits in as far as where buyers put it on the priority.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give you a really bad answer. It varies. It really does. And what we find, though, people buy cars for very specific reasons, and frankly, I need to get somewhere, right? I also want the emotion that comes with it. And so things like design, performance, fuel economy, safety, huge one, those are all critical, and those all absolutely matter, and always will. What we're finding is when you think about things like technology, if you rate technology alone, like say like the Better Music Service or things like that, they fall out pretty low. If you look at things like a connected safety, like emergency response, that really, really, really high. And so I think the way I look at it is finding ways to make better or augment a lot of the reasons people are already buying cars. So if you can make them safer, that's a huge accelerant of one of the top things people look for in vehicles, which is safety, right? So I think that if you look at purely the tech side of it, a lot of times I think you'll see them continue to fall out pretty low. With specific customers, though, actually, frankly, the Sonic and Spark customer, it tends to be higher than what you would see in some of the bigger segments, family vehicles. SUV, things like Wi-Fi is very, very big for entertainment reasons with families. So I'd say it varies, but the way that I look at it is anytime that we can use technology or any of this to reinforce some of the core reasons that people buy cars, I think we're going to make the biggest impact. And then we can find ways to innovate for specific features or technologies that specific customers want. That's why I think OnStar and some of the safety ideas can really, really be powerful, because the safer we make a vehicle, the more we're reinforcing one of the key things people look for in a vehicle to begin with. And so it all kind of feeds off of each other.
The other thing would be the security and the systems regarding hackers.
Cybersecurity. How did I know that was going to come up? No, it's a great question, and one that we take very seriously. In fact, we have a chief cybersecurity executive that's been appointed about a year ago, whose job is to ensure that our systems are hardened, that our systems are as safe as possible. I'm not going to say that they're, to make sure they're 100% untouchable, because that's not possible. But what is possible is to ensure that you put the right layers of hardened security systems into the vehicle, and it starts with the connection into the car, ensuring that that is protected. Then it gets into things like the infotainment systems, ensuring those are protected, and then hardening key safety systems and vehicle systems as well. And so the ability to harden at 3 different levels is critical. The other piece that's really important as well is the ability to react in real time. And this is something where we have a recent example where I'm actually very, very pleased with the way we responded. There was the Wired article, right, about OnStar being hacked. And if you get into the details on what actually happened there, it's a very implausible scenario, but it did happen. We fixed it within 24 hours and sent a patch out to every vehicle on the road. It was fixed within 24 hours. That's only possible through a software platform-driven approach with the connected vehicle. Otherwise, it would have been a much bigger issue, bringing people back and making them try to come back in and fix it. And so part of it is, one, making it a corporate priority, which we have. 2, taking a 3-tier type of approach to harden systems along the way. And then 3rd, ensuring that we're engineering our vehicles in a way where when we do find an issue, we can respond literally within 24 hours, is the approach that we're taking with it. It's a great question.
In the area of voice recognition, can you talk about how that will evolve?
Sure, yeah. I'll start with, the question was around voice recognition and the evolution. And how many people love the voice rec in their car right now? Just one, all right, couple, all right, good. That's the first time anyone's ever raised their hand. That's exciting. Part of what we see with voice recognition is that today and in the past, the way that we innovated in voice rec was that everything resided on the vehicle, right? Think of the best analogy I can give is think about a navigation map, where you buy the map and you buy it in 2015, and it's pretty up to date. But by mid-15, things have changed, roads have been, modified, businesses have come and gone. 16, a little less dated, 18, 19, so on and so forth. And you're also limited by how much capacity you have inside the car on how much you can put in there, right? And so you have to make trade-offs and choices. Very similar example for voice recognition. And part of the reason that you see limited languages, limited recognition of accents and dialects, and that it doesn't work as well as you'd see with a phone, for example, and I'll get into why here in a second, is because it's all historically has been built into the car, because it has to be in the vehicle, it has to be fit within the amount of memory that you have dedicated to it. That's very different than the approach that Siri and Android and even Microsoft Cortana have taken. If you use Siri on your phone, you actually give the voice command. It gets sent to the cloud, action taken, and then sent back down to your phone. It's all off board. And so they have a database that they're constantly making better and tweaking and adding dialects, adding languages, adding capability, because it's all off board. But that requires a connection. And so what I think you continue to see in the automotive space is you'll see our voice recognition continue to get better and better and better. I think our systems are pretty good right now, but you're going to see them continue to evolve and get better, because you'll see the ability, again, going back to this type of connected ecosystem, a 4G connected vehicle now has the capability to do onboard, offboard type of voice recognition, where you're doing some things in the vehicle, so it's always there, but it also has the ability to evolve and get better and update through the cloud. And so that's how all this kind of fits together in order to make the experience better. So the evolution of voice, I think you're going to see us follow. We're not going to follow exactly what Apple and Google are doing, because I'm a firm believer that in a world where you drive places, you're not always going to have 100% connectivity. We still need to be able to provide that experience, but you're going to see us augment and accelerate through offboard as well. Yeah, thank you. It's good. Great question. That's good.
Hello. Okay. You have 4 LTE in every car.
Yes.
That means that you have some kind of a cell phone inside every car.
Yes.
Okay. And it is going to be standard in every car.
In most of the vehicles, right?
Okay.
Yep.
And once the customer buys it, it's up to the customer to continue with the service, or he has to have it?
It's a good question around the way that the service works and whether you keep it or not. So we'll take the U.S. for example. Okay, the vehicles that we sell in model year 16 all have standard 4G LTE inside them, along with most of them with a high Wi-Fi hotspot. As a customer, it's there. It's not an option. It's not an extra price. It's already there built in. You do have the option to say I don't want it to be connected. And when you buy the car at the dealer, you can say no, I don't want it connected, and we'll turn it off and your car won't be connected. That's that 99% number that you saw. And so what we see is about 99% of people are saying, yes, please keep my car connected. Then what we get into, though, and this is a very different business model for what historically was the OnStar business model, which was all about subscription revenue and subscription. What we introduced at the beginning last year with the launch of 4G is what we call the basic plan. And so even if a customer, now our vehicles still come with trials of the full OnStar services with emergency and navigation and a lot of those things. And a customer can choose to subscribe and pay a monthly fee for those. They can also though choose that if they don't want to be a paid subscriber, they can still keep their car connected. And the timeline is for 5 years. So you can keep your car connected for 5 years, get all the benefits from advanced diagnostics, from the remote link application, from Wi-Fi, those types of things, at no additional charge, and the ability to buy Wi-Fi data to consume in the vehicle as well. In the past, if you didn't pay a subscription after 6 months, we would cut the connection. Today, even if you decide not to be a paid subscriber, you can still say, I'm not going to pay, but keep my car connected for 5 years, please, and we'll do that as part of the basic plan. And we still deliver a tremendous amount of what we believe to be experiences that increase the ownership experience. And so it's a bit of a different business model for us, but customers have the choice of no connection, please turn it off, full OnStar services at a paid subscription, or the basic plan, which gives a lot of really great ownership benefits, but no additional charge.
Do you have the option to take completely out the cell device, the cell phone device?
We do not. No, it's standard in the vehicle.
So basically, you have a record, like it or not, where that car has been.
You don't have to. No, if the customer says, nope, turn the car off, then the connection gets severed and we have no access to that car. So that 99% number, again, in order for the car to stay connected at delivery, the customer has to say, just like with a cell phone, terms and conditions, yes, I want it connected. And if they say yes, then we will keep it connected.